former Democratic candidate Andrew Yang hits the table to guest co-host and make a big announcement for the first time on The View. Dueling Democrats. As the race boils down to Biden versus Bernie, who will they ask to join their administration? And is Andrew interested in a position?
Maybe the entire election. Look at all the Andrew Yang people. Look at your co-following. Look at these people.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Hard to deny he's one of the smartest people in the room. Before we talk about anything else, we have to tell you, Sunny's not here today. Her maternal grandma passed this morning, so she's off to be with her family, and with all thinking of you and sending you love. Hang in there, Sunny. On a much brighter note, much brighter, please welcome our guest co-host, former Democratic presidential candidate, who?
When you were running?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how you're not president. I mean, this entire room, no other candidate had this.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's just Iowa. It's just Iowa.
So right before we went on air, ABC News has confirmed that Elizabeth Warren has dropped out of the race. And you know, it's now, you know,
two old white guys.
Two old white guys. Back to back to the time that we had before. You know, it's so funny. You would think we had 50 black presidents. You think we had a whole bunch of. We think we had one black president, and it's always been a lot of white guys. So this is not a shock, y'all. But any predictions who you think she'll endorse?
Oh, she's discussing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that most people would imagine that she's going to head towards Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a chance that she doesn't endorse anyone for at least a particular period of time. They're going through a really emotional process right now.
Yeah.
Her campaign team worked very, very hard.
Yes.
And I was stunned myself at Super Tuesday's results on several levels.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're deliberating right now. I believe you're going to see them come out one direction or the other pretty soon.
But she goes back to the Senate now, which is good.
Yeah, I mean,
So we
she's still going to
have
be
a
fighting for
Democratic
working
senator
people
in Massachusetts.
for years to come. And I just want to tell an Elizabeth Warren story. I got calls from many of the other candidates when I suspended my campaign. And Elizabeth's call to me was so magnanimous and generous. And she had a tough night herself that night in New Hampshire, and you never would have known it. She's an amazing human being, an amazing leader behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
She would have made a great president, I think.
She would have made a great president.
Yeah.
You all would have made great presidents. I'm sorry, you know. I mean, there are different.
I don't think
strengths
everybody
and-
would have made a great president.
Well, I
could have
do.
lived without Marianne Williams.
Well, yes, yeah.
Sorry.
But in looking, well, no, she has a whole other thing that she brings. But to me,
That's certainly
what we
one way
have
to put it, yes.
Well, yeah, but what we have right now doesn't work at all.
No.
And
Well,
I'll take any of them over this.
But
I
look
won't
at the
take Marianne
fantastic
Williams.
cabinet. Whoever wins the Democratic
What a
election
great
is
group
going to
of
have,
folks,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, look at all of you. A fantastic group of people for the cabinet and for other positions in the administration of probably Joe Biden.
Maybe.
don't know,
We
but
don't know.
it
We'll
looks
see
like
who it
that.
is.
Yeah, someone called us the Avengers, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be great. Get this country back on track.
Yeah.
Have you thought about endorsing anyone?
Joe called me a couple days ago. I've said I want to have the democratic process play out. I've also said that everyone knows I ran on this idea of universal basic income, and that if a candidate were to come out powerfully for the freedom dividend, that would go a very long way.
Yeah. And just to let you know, I asked each and every one of them that came to this table about that and
Yeah,
about
she
the things that you were talking about. And they all kind of blew me off in a funny way. Because I think it's scary to them, because it means having to go outside of the norm. And I think that's one of the things that I think got me excited about you, was that, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about this before. When you said, listen, we need to be telling these people they got to pay their taxes, like, hey, that's right. How come nobody's talking about that?
Amazon's paying.
Well, you
too.
also wanted to give money out, too. There was
Yes,
that.
but that's not the thing that got me.
Oh.
The thing that got me was finally somebody said, you do know that Amazon and these other groups are not paying any taxes. And they should be. And we should be getting some money here.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, snap. Okay. And it was a fresh idea that seemed to be for the people. And I like that. Anything that suggests something great for the people, I'm all in.
Well, I assume that you will have a platform at the convention to give
Yeah.
a speech. I'm just making that assumption you are a major presidential candidate, and maybe you can use that opportunity to implore the rest of the party, if it's that important to you, to do the freedom dividend and the taxing on
Besides
tech
yourself, who do you think would be a great VP?
Well, like you said, I mean, there are a lot of great choices. I do think that if Joe's the front runner, which you'd have to say he is right now, that he needs to shore up his support among young people in particular, and I think that his running mate might be an opportunity to do that.
And Latinos, too?
And Latinos.
Yeah.
And we kind of know, for better or for worse, Joe's support and Bernie's support are almost like mirror images of each other. So you need someone who can attract many of the same Latino voters and young people that Bernie's attracting.
So AOC would be actually a good choice, except that she's a Bernie person.
She's also not old enough.
Well, she's not as a VP?
Nope.
Yeah, well, the
have to be
Constitution has a
34.
minimum age
Oh, I
for
see.
president, and it's conceivable that the vice president is going to be president.
And what's this? I heard you wanted to run for mayor of New York.
I love this idea.
I mean, I'm looking to solve problems and as much value as I can. Certainly, I'm more attracted to executive roles than I am legislative roles. But I'm going to make an announcement today on the show that's not about the mayoral race. It's about trying to further the ideas of the campaign in the days ahead.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, sure, I can do that right now. So I am thrilled to announce that today we are launching a new nonprofit called Humanity Forward that will champion the main ideas of my campaign: universal basic income for all Americans, an economy that works for us, and the fact that our data should be ours, even if we're loaning it to the tech companies. So we already have pledges of $3 million that we're going to give away to everyday Americans around the country in the days ahead. But
That's awesome.
that's really good, right? But the goal is to build a movement. And so this is going to be a grassroots campaign or organization in the months ahead. And one person who supports Humanity Forward in the month of March will get $1,000 a month for a full year, just to show that we can make this economy work for us, the people of this country. So if you want to find out more, you can go to the Views website and find out more.
Oh.
I'm about to correct. Sonny's paternal grandmother passed away.
It wasn't her maternal. What did you say? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know. I read what they said.
It was
obviously
her husband's mother.
Her father's mother.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not what they wrote, but that's what they meant.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
So welcome back. Right now, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments on a major case about abortion rights, and Senator Chuck Schumer is under fire for comments he made at a rally yesterday. Watch.
Republican legislatures are waging a war on women, all women. And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
So Justice Roberts made a rare public rebuke, calling Schumer's comments dangerous and inappropriate. And here's what the senator said just this morning.
Of course, I didn't intend to suggest anything other than political and public opinion consequences for the Supreme Court. And it is a gross distortion to imply otherwise. I'm from Brooklyn. We speak in strong language. I shouldn't have used the words I did, but in no way was I making a threat.
So, is this all a distraction from the fact that a major abortion rights case is being heard right now?
Well, I'm a champion of women's reproductive rights as fundamental human rights, but I don't think it's productive for a senator to publicly rebuke Supreme Court justices before a ruling. I mean, we have constitutional separation of powers for a reason, and the fact is, if this had happened in reverse, then I'm sure Chuck and many other Democrats would be very, very upset about it.
Well, we were.
It has happened in reverse.
It has happened in reverse, exactly.
Trump does
and
that all the time,
it was terrible. Then it's not great if Democrats do it either.
No, you know, and Gorsuch, you know, listen, the law is the law, and we'll fight when we know what the outcome is. We don't know what the outcome is.
I don't exactly understand why he was saying Gorsuch and Kavanaugh would suffer. It's the Republican people who are running for Congress, Republican Party people running for Congress that might suffer, because the people will not like the idea that our rights are being taken away.
Yeah,
but how does Gorsuch and Kavanaugh suffer? What did he mean by that?
Because they're the
Probably
newest.
voting for the bill.
Yeah, but how will they suffer? They're on the Supreme Court for life.
That's why it seems so inappropriate,
Yes,
honestly.
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense that you face political consequences if you have a lifetime appointment.
But he
I
did
think
make
also
excuse me 1 minute. He did make the point, though, and everybody should know, that if abortion rights are repealed, a lot of people will lose their seat, and he was warning them about that.
Right, but as he said, his verbiage was not the best.
Okay.
Well, I always thought of Chuck Schumer as like very even-keeled in his commentary and speeches. Like, I never think of him as a flamethrower.
Yeah,
so this actually really surprised me. Just even the yelling, the way he's speaking, and him saying, you won't know what hit you. Look, when you have people like Steve Scalise that have like literally been shot over politics, you got to be careful with the way you talk. We're living in dangerous times. We talked about how I think all presidential candidates of a certain level should have Secret Service, and I think that level is being on the debate stage. Like, I think we're just living in really dangerous, politically polarizing times. So I think if you're Chuck Schumer and you're a lion in the Senate, you have to be more careful, regardless of how you feel about abortion and abortion rights. And I think there's a way, I think even for me, being pro-life, it makes me zone out when I hear rhetoric like that. Like, we can have a responsible conversation, but when you're screaming and talking about you're not going to know what hit you if you disagree, I think people tune out.
The good thing about this whole conversation is that it's reminding people, voters, that you're not just voting for a president, you're voting for a Supreme Court. You're voting for certain rights being taken away from you. You know, so you have to keep that in mind. So in a way, it reminds people of that.
The Republicans have been much more effective at focusing on judiciary appointments than the Democrats.
It's true.
Oh, yeah. Well, Obama was blocked during all that time when he tried to do it.
But in terms of galvanizing voter energy and enthusiasm, it's true. But now the pendulum's swinging the other way, where I think people are waking up to the fact that these appointments will have very, very real consequences for years and years to come.
And, you know, but the thing that I've always been knocked out about when it comes to the Supreme Court is you just never know with them. You know, everybody said, you know, Justice Roberts he's just always going to vote that way. And
we have to do away with lifetime appointments for a Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They have to have
Like, it doesn't make sense where you're appointing someone. You're literally like, ooh, he's young and healthy. He's going to be here for like 30 years. I mean, like, who's trying to set rules for 30 years in advance?
And the federal judges, too. Don't they have lifetime appointments?
Some of them at very, very senior levels. But we created lifetime appointments in the Constitution when people did not live as long. And people used to step down for any of a variety of reasons.
Yes.
They didn't just wait until they were at death's door. They used to, like, retire.
Yeah.
But right now, it's entirely rational for us to follow Ruth Bader Ginsburg around, scrubbing any doorknob she touches.
That's right.
But you got to do that for everybody.
Yeah.
Because, you know, stuff that comes to kill you doesn't care how old you are.
But when you're 89 and you've suffered from, I think, the health issue she has, that's a concern. And we all, you know, respect and wish
I mean,
her the best.
I'm not religious, but I'm praying for Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Now, if you had 18-year term limits, it would affect both parties. You ought to be able to get it through both parties because it's not one side or the other. It's just a better process.
One would think. One would think.
One would think.
One would think, but you know how stuff goes. Like us, we're going right now. We'll be right back. I can't wait to tell you this. There's a new dating app that takes a page from the Netflix reality series Love is Blind. It blurs the profile picture of the person you're interested in, and then the more you get to know them fakely on the app, the clearer the photo becomes. Oh my God! I'm so excited about it.
What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, would you swipe on a bio?
Everybody at this
We're all
table is
married.
married.
If I was single, though, I'd date an immunologist right now. I
would. So I didn't use apps because I was a little bit past that time.
Right.
But I have many younger friends who use apps, and they complain about how right now, like, they're a lot of work. Dating apps are actually a lot of work. And so anything that helps people make connections in different ways is probably a good idea because there's something really difficult and even dehumanizing about the way a lot of these apps work right now. And a lot of that's based on appearance. So at least this way you have a few more touch points and human connections before you're frankly like swiping right or swiping left.
But you know something about that? Like, let's say, so you're on the app, and he's very interesting. He loves science. He loves pina coladas. I think he sounds like he's going to be fabulous. I'm really getting interested in him. Then you see his picture, and you don't like what he looks like, and so you reject him. So now you know how shallow you really are.
Yes. I see that.
It's like a learning tool, really.
This app teaches you about yourself.
Yes, it does.
See, I'm old-fashioned and dumb. Go to the bar.
Right, that's her thing.
Go to because if you want to hone your skills for talking, you're not going to do it on the phone. Go to the bar. Introduce yourself to people.
Meet
and
some
if you
alcoholics.
meet somebody, well, as you know, not everybody who goes to the bar drinks alcohol. I don't drink, and I love a bar. Because there's always somebody interesting, and they can be 60 years old, they can be 21 years old, they can be brand new, you never know. But, a static picture is great, but go and smell them. Smell the people.
They need a smelling app.
I just feel like if you want to remember how to connect, you got to go where people are.
This is $1 billion tech idea, Whoopi.
I know.
It's just like, where you have their aroma as part of the profile, and you like hold the phone up and then
Listen,
it's like it.
I tell you, it would help a lot of folks. Some things you don't want to discover.
Kidding aside, a lot of people meet people at AA meetings.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Listen.
Yeah, but something like 50% of all relationships start online now. Mayor Pete met his husband on Hinge, and he's obviously another presidential candidate. I know. My husband I met on Twitter, which everyone thinks is always weird.
You're famous.
Well, we both had blue check marks, which made it easier, so it wasn't so weird. But there are people that if you slid in my DMs, you didn't have a blue check mark, I wouldn't respond.
No,
I
don't know if you know this about me, but I met my husband at a semi-nudist colony.
I did not know.
Yes, she did, and they hooked up immediately.
True. It's a true story. He was naked, I was not. Because for a man to see me naked, I have to be in his will. But
That is my favorite joke of hers.
so he was all the way on the other side of this place, and it was like an adult place.
He just walked up to you naked?
No, he was far away when he was naked. And then at night there was a movie playing, and then I saw him fully dressed. But I remembered him from the daytime. No, it's true. People wonder about. I tell that story. People say, "Joy, really? That twitching, crazy woman on The View?" Yeah.
Yeah, you had a sexy history with Steve, meeting at a nudist colony.
Yes.
Little did people know. I'm sorry, semi-nudist colony. Excuse me.
Because she, of course, was not
I was
naked.
totally
Yeah.
dressed.
This is like the opposite of the app, where you knew exactly what you were getting.
I knew what I was getting when I could see it that far away.
Yeah.
Well done, Steve. We're all proud
Sometimes
of you.
things look bigger than they are in the app. Anyway, we'll be right back. Please welcome Pamela Anderson.
Wait, they put it up really high so I wouldn't be like Kilroy was here, like at the I'm on The View. Oh my God. Whoa.
Pump the pump.
I'm good. I'm so sanitized within an inch of my life. It's crazy. I'm clean.
And you look good.
Thank you so
look
much.
Really good.
Thank you, guys.
Listen, people can't stop talking about the coronavirus. You've been traveling around to talk about your new show, meeting a lot of new people. How you doing? Are people coughing on you?
Well, I hate it. I mean, we were on the plane to come here for press week. It was Monday. It wasn't a state of emergency in LA.
Right.
I'm going back home. My daughter texted me last night. She's like, Mom, there's 4 confirmed cases of coronavirus in New York. You're in your 50s.
You're okay. It's over 65.
Like, she said, so I wrote her back, thanks. There are 7 cases in LA. Have a good night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, we were kind of yang-ganging for a while. I can't. There you go.
He touches everybody.
Meanwhile, I've been doing this for years, so it's like the corona has made everybody catch up to me.
Yes.
I used to be like really rude and be like, oh, hello, I'm sorry, I dropped something. I can't touch your hand.
But we touched everybody before the corona, and nobody got sick.
I know, and people were like, your friends were like coming up and kissing you and licking you, and I don't want to smell mouths. This is why I'm single. I like live my life like a monk, so this is kind of working out for me.
Well, you obviously live in California, which is a key battleground state for Super Tuesday, and everyone's talking about the election all the time. Yesterday, we showed a clip of Jill Biden stopping a protester, and she's like 5'3", and we're all very concerned about safety and the divisiveness in the country. What do you make of all that?
Well, you know, I mean, I can say it. My brother's a Republican. We're like total opposites. He's got 3 boys. I've got 3 girls. And he and we separated ways for a long time during hanging chads.
Mm-hmm.
And we were together for Thanksgiving. It was a particularly not fun Thanksgiving. And I just said, Kyoto Accord, and then he went for me. And so we decided to not speak about anything political for years and years. And I have just started sending him stuff, and he's started sending me stuff. And we have a talk. It's like, there was a couple, James Carville and Mary Madeline.
Yeah,
you know?
They got along.
And I love this story, man. I mean, you know, he was running Bill Clinton's war room, and she was running George Bush's war room. I don't want, you know, you guys are way smarter than me. I'm an actress. But,
oh my God, me too.
Oh my God,
I used to be.
No, you totally are. I mean, we all, but
what about Kellyanne and her husband, George Conway? They don't seem to get along that well.
I don't, it's so weird.
So
because
weird.
everybody's like tweeting and whatever, and it's a fascinating train wreck.
Yeah.
to me.
James Carville and Mary Matlin are like what to do, and I always think George Conway and Kellyanne are what not to do.
Yeah.
Like in political relationships, like two great examples. And he's like tweeting nasty stuff to her all the time. It's bizarre.
Well, you just want to know what it's like at home,
Yeah.
at the dinner table, or in the bedroom.
I think he's brilliant. He's brilliant, the husband. Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they're sitting there at the.
I got to look it up because I don't know.
He goes after Trump.
He goes there.
Mercilessly.
Oh, yeah.
And there she is defending him on television. It's ridiculous.
Maybe that's what the dinner table looks like. They're like tweeting at each other.
No, they are.
Or maybe they're just messing with everybody. Maybe they actually get along fine.
Well, it's sad because their
'cause
daughters have to read this crap on and
Yeah, listen, this is how it used to be. You could have arguments with people, but then you still said, your chicken might be dry, but I still like you.
There you go. But you're right, though, because it might be
a turn on.
A game. You don't even know.
I've heard it's not a put on, but
What do you know?
I've heard that it's real. But I do want to say it's been painful for Americans to actually say that they're going to have a hard time going home for Thanksgiving dinner and avoiding these conversations.
Yep.
And one of the things I'm proudest of in the campaign is that, we hopefully can start bringing people together in a different way. But Pamela, you've been in the business for a long time.
I can't believe he knows who I am.
Well, we told him.
Andrew, we told him. Thank you.
But you've been working in the business since you were 11 years old. You were in the Facts of Life, a show I was a huge fan of. And I was just wondering how much the business has changed for you over your career, because you've obviously been in it for a long time.
Yeah. Well, for one, I just touched my hair on my cheek. Okay. For me, it's been an incredible journey because my dad was a writer-producer, and so I grew up on sound stages, on New York morning news sound stages with my father, and it was always men. It was always men.
Yeah.
And so in the past 4 years doing my show, I have been able to be a pioneer for women, and I didn't realize that until the other day. But when you sit there and you say, I have the ability and the power now to hire people and to go after who I want. For season 3 of my show, I didn't want to do it without a female key grip.
Yeah.
So
there's like 4.
Yeah.
So for me, that was 2. It's just that one hair was touching my cheek.
We want to promote your show now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can put it back up so I can do it.
Yeah.
Your show, Better Things, which you write, direct, and star in, as I said at the beginning of this, is about to start its 4th season. It's semi-autobiographical, but it's really coming-of-age story, which is kind of where you were just going. So, have you come of age?
It's crazy that I've been working since I'm 11, and I basically hit something big at the age of 50.
Yes.
When I literally should be in the dustbin at the Jewish Council thrift, like nobody should.
We don't do that. That doesn't happen. We don't toss folks away anymore because the folks that they toss make a lot of noise.
Old is the new black. That's what I'm saying.
You have to come and hang out again.
I love
Please
this.
do. Please.
Guys, I'm
Right
happy.
Pamela Anderson, season 4 of Better Things premieres tonight on FX. And we, of course, we'll be right back. Hey, you know what? Our thanks to Andrew Yang. Remember, this is a man who has a plan. He guest hosted with us. If you want to know more, look at our website. It's all there. We want you all to have a great day, everyone, and take a little time to enjoy your view and wash your hands.
Hello, Yang Gang. I just got off hosting The View, and we announced our new organization, Humanity Forward. We're going to keep championing the ideas of the campaign and take them into the real world. And we need your help. Would love your support. Donate $5, $10, $20, $1,000 if you're rich. There's no limit. The best thing would be to donate in a recurring fashion so that we can actually spec out exactly what the future looks like for the org and actually start budgeting and planning. Not quite like a presidential campaign. So go to movehumanityforward.com, join the movement, and let's make this economy work for us instead of the other way around. Thank you all. See you soon.
Put the money in our hands. 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 Can we afford it? Yes. Will it cause inflation? No. Is it awesome? Yes. Is anyone trying to make it happen? Yeah, that guy.